So you have this guy called Bart Sibrel, and he's a documentary filmmaker, and from what I understand in the interviews he's done recently, from a very young age, his father, who was a pilot, very high up guy, had acquired some very large A5 pictures of the moon landings. And Bart Sibrel had these pictures of the moon landings on his wall from when he was 6 right through to when he was a teenager. And he had seen another documentary from a guy, maybe when he was in his early teens, that essentially stated he didn't think the moon landings were possible. And many years later, Bart Sibrel starts working for the same guy, and he asked the interviewer if he remembered who the guy was that he'd done the filming with. And Bart Sibrel gets in touch with him, contacts the old film studio that were doing the piece on that particular chap, and he contacts him and starts a bit of an investigation many years later, because he was too scared at the time that opening that can of worms might end up with him getting in a lot of trouble. So he made two documentaries specifically on this subject. One was called Astronauts Gone Mad, and Astronauts Gone Mad was interesting because he asked many of the men who had landed on the moon, allegedly, if they would place their hand on the Bible and swear to God that they landed on the moon. None of them would. Buzz Aldrin punched him in the face. He got kneed in the back, kicked out of the homes. Interviews were drawn immediately to a close. And it was very telling, the fact that they would not, under any circumstances, put their hand on the Bible and just say, yeah, I swear it happened. So he, a few years later, again whilst doing the same investigative journalism, acquired an unedited tape from NASA, and this tape had, in essence, a shot that hadn't been seen before, where the Apollo 11 crew were masking off part of one of the round windows. So they stopped all the light getting into the command module, and they, from the back of the module, filmed the round window with a cutout against it, so that it appeared like we had a picture of the Earth. Now, I came across this whilst looking at a whole string of sort of, I don't know if you want to call them NASA outtakes, but lots and lots of junky footage that wasn't very well edited together. But in amongst them was this, and it had the same shot that Bart Sibrel had in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. Now, I don't know how heavily edited it is. I'll fast forward to it here and turn up the volume and keep my mouth shut so you can actually see. So this is the blue marble picture, and we're told earlier on in this clip that they achieved this picture by putting the camera right up to the circular, well, they don't say circular, but right up to the window, and this is the end shot that we achieve. But as you can probably see from the way the camera's moving around, this is not pressed up against the window. Now, coming in from the top left in a moment, we'll see the interior light that they use to presumably look at the camera equipment to film this shot. They make mention of it on this particular tape. And there somebody's moving the cutout away from the window. So we still have the circular window. But the black in this surroundings of the Earth is supposed to be space. But any moment without any edits, we see that it's not space, it's the interior of the command module. So there's somebody getting in the way of the Earth.
Oh, well, Houston, here's that we're seeing a view from outside, look a little of the inside. It appears he's taking the camera away from the left window. Now, over. That's correct. We're moving back and reconfiguring for interior lighting. Roger.
There's the Earth, there's the Earth, there's the Earth.
We can still see the Earth through the left window, and it appears that we can see a floodlight off to the left of the Earth and front casting through the hatch window.
And there it is. They take away the cutout. It's just a
Now we're
window.
coming in, can't quite make out who they had. Alright, Big Mike Collins there. Well, you got a little bit of, yeah, hello there, Fort Fred. You got a little bit of me, but Neil I can finally know the camera working. Roger, it's a little dark now, Lemon.
So I'm going to play it again. So at the moment it's the Earth and it's got space around it. You can probably see things nudging around it as they remove the cutout of the Terminator line. This was all pointed out in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. But what we've got at the moment is a mixture of interior and exterior.
Your thought that we're seeing a view from outside, look a little of the inside. Appears he's taking the camera away from the left window. Now, over.
That's right, whoever's on the communication channel, that's right, we've got the Earth, exterior, and interior lighting.
For interior lighting. Roger.
It's not the Earth, it's just the window. Viewing some clouds.
We can still see the Earth through the left window, and it appears that we can see a floodlight off to the left. Either that or some sun casting through the hatch window. It's a floodlight.
It's not, it's the interior.
Now we're coming in. Can't quite make out who they had.
I mean, this is disgraceful. They've told us what we saw there was the Earth taken from the window. And it wasn't. It was the window itself, making the outside, which you can see is very, very bright from both of the windows. A moment ago, what we saw hovering in this shot was that circular window looking like it was the Earth, having all of the rest of the light from the interior of the module blocked out. It's a complete farce. I mean, we've been had. We're not seeing pictures of Earth from space. They can't get to space. They've never been to the moon. They've just lied through their back teeth. The models are a complete sham. I mean, this, when I was searching through this clip, was originally going to be the footage after the LEM takes off from the moon, the jerky model, which is an absolute joke. But I couldn't quite believe my eyes when I saw this clip, which is I first viewed in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon. And you don't know its authenticity, but this is NASA's footage. There's Michael Collins. This is not a fraud done by Bart. It's genuine NASA footage, and it basically proves that they fraudulently gave us pictures of the globe. There were no such thing.